Hey guys, Spawn here. In this video, we're going to go over the Midnight Alpha development notes patch, and I'm only going to cover my first impressions for the Elemental Shaman changes. So let's go ahead and see what's changing for Shaman. First thing they're going to do is interrupts are being changed a little bit. They're adding 2 seconds to everyone's interrupt. So wind shear interrupt duration increased from 4 seconds and used to be 2 seconds, only in PvE. This is a huge win for us. We do have one of the shortest kicks in the game. But in the past, if you had a mob that you kicked in range, it would take, one step and then it would start casting again. With this, we're actually going to have like a decent kick, which is awesome. We can check for the next part. So for hero talents, Farseer Restoration obviously doesn't include us. For Stormbringer, new talent, Natural Gift. Nature damage is increased by 2%, whatever. New talent, Descending Skies. Ascendance upgrades your next Lightning Bolt to Tempest. That's sort of our tier that we have now, right? Whenever you proc Ascendance, you get a free Tempest. So nothing new there, except we're going to have a baseline or a new talent that we can take. New talent, Stormwell for Elemental. Storm Elemental lasts 2 seconds longer and Stormkeeper generates 10 Maelstrom. Now, Storm Ellie is no longer like a choice. It's going to be Fire Elemental now, and Storm Ellie is going to be the thing that comes out when you cast Stormkeeper. Tempest's chance to occur has been redesigned, so no longer, based on the 300 Maelstrom spent, it's going to be a 0.3% chance occur per Maelstrom spent. So kind of like DRE. Now instead of proccing Ascendance, you can proc Ascendance and Tempest, I guess. I don't know what's going to happen if you proc Ascendance with the Ellie Blast and this Tempest. Do we get two because Ascendance upgrades our next lightning bolt to Tempest? Do we get 2 stacks right away? I don't know how that's going to interact. Arc Discharge has been redesigned. Now causes Tempest to grant a stack of Stormkeeper. So this is going to be massive, I think. Because right now you can bug out Stormkeeper and get 4 charges for free instead of 3. 1 charge from Rolling Thunder, which is gone by the way, but Arc Discharge is going to give us that 1 charge, basically like a Rolling Thunder. And then 2 from Stormkeeper, but if you were to spam Chain Lightning while you're casting that Stormkeeper, you get like a free cast. So now, if every time we have Arc Discharge and we have Stormkeeper up, we can technically get 4 charges every 15 seconds, but it's going to be every 30 seconds with an additional talent, since Herald of the Storm was redesigned to subtract another 15 seconds from Stormkeeper CD. So I know that sounds confusing, but we might cover it more in depth later if we get access to Alpha or in the future if we get access to some footage. Rolling Thunder has been redesigned. This is the talent that gave you 1 Stormkeeper every 15 seconds. This is good, I think, because sometimes, whenever that Rolling Thunder proc, it could be a good time, it could be a bad time, it could be completely wasted. Now reduces Stormkeeper to 15 seconds. So now Stormkeeper has 45 second CD, 30 second CD if you take Herald of the Storms, which was also redesigned. We'll check that out later. Awakening Storms has been redesigned. Now increases the chance to gain Tempest by an additional 0.3% per Maelstrom spent. Sounds like we might be getting tons of Tempests in our future. Tempest and which gives us Arc Discharge, which is another Stormkeeper. A lot of Stormkeepers in the future. I'm really liking this change, especially if you're still able to bug out that free Stormkeeper charge. You're gonna have tons of free Stormkeeper charges. Enhancement, not gonna cover that, so we can skip the enhancement portion. Skip Totemic here. Skip Resto. Now let's go to some of our overall class changes. Encasing Cold has been redesigned. Now increases the cooldown of Frost Shock by 15 seconds and causes Frost Shock to freeze its target in place for 4 seconds. It looks like Frost Shock is not going anywhere. And that's just this talent here. If you were to open this talent, this is Encasing Cold is like one of our right here. Frost Shock snares its targets by an additional 10% and its duration is increased by 2 seconds. So again, both these talents came out and they were kind of useless. I believe they're getting rid of Arctic Snowstorm. We never really used them, so whatever. Now we get like a root, which is like can be useful, but I mean it breaks on damage, so really how useful is it going to be? Who knows? Season Winds is now renamed to Wind Veil and has been redesigned. Interrupting a spell with Wind Shear reduces all spell damage taken by 15% for 12 seconds. This is an amazing change. That means basically if we kick on CD, we will have 15% magic damage taken like in every key or boss that has a kick. So we're definitely gonna want to prio Shaman kicks first. Currently, as it stands, we are losing a second stack, which gives us 30%, and it's going from 18 seconds to 12. So we really have to be on top of our kicks to get that DR. I think that's a positive change, though. Overall, really like it. I wish it was still 18 seconds. It'd be kind of cool. That gives us like the extra 6 seconds to find another kick, right? Because since wind shear is 12 seconds, this last 12 seconds, you kind of like want to kick on CD to maintain uptime, right? Which will never be the case. You'll never have 100%. Static charge has been redesigned, and that's just like the stun CDR on Totem here. Now they're just making it base. Instead of like potentially being 40 seconds CD, it's going to be just 45 seconds CD. They're going to reduce it by 15 seconds. Each specialization now automatically learns one spell instead of two. Don't know what that means. Who cares? Doesn't sound very important. We'll see. Earth Ellie now lasts 30 seconds. Was 1 minute. Has a 3 minute cooldown. Great step in the right direction, I think. Since they are removing Stone Bulwark Totem, this is a good thing. Sucks that it only lasts 30 seconds. Awesome that it's a 3 minute cooldown. You can't really use this on Trash for Mythic Plus since it just taunts, adds, and dies. You can use it on Trash if you want to save your tank from a tank buster, which is nice. But now we're going to be able to use it on bosses like all the time. Raid bosses, dungeon bosses. Obviously dungeon bosses that do not have Trash, otherwise it's going to taunt and die. I wish that Blizzard would have like a enable disable taunt on Earth Ellie. It'd be kind of cool if we can disable the taunt. That way we can actually use it whenever we want it as a personal. Totemic Surge reduces the cooldown of totems by 5 seconds with 6 seconds. Random ass change. Maybe there's a weird overlap somewhere with some totems. Chain Heal Cast is now 2 seconds, was 25 seconds. I doubt Ellie's going to use that. Poison Cleanse now choice talent with Tremor. I guess that's okay. I've never really been in a dungeon when you needed both. Maybe Arakara, but I mean, you really should be kicking the fear, not getting feared anyway. Several talents have changed position. The following talents have been removed. Arctic Snowstorm, we talked about that. Call the Elements, Creation Core, Frost Shock. Oh, just Frost Shock has been removed. So there's something weird going on, right? But then up here it says we have a new talent. Increases cooldown of Frost Shock, but Frost Shock's removed. Obviously, there's some issues here. Guardian's Cudgels, double cap. It's gone. Lightning Lasso's PvP. Bulwark Totem is gone. So now we only have Astral Shift as a defensive. Great, we're back. People are losing defensive left and right, but I feel like Ellie should have at least got to keep this because we don't really have any. They're trying to compensate us with Earth Ellie, but again, only good on bosses, really bad on Trash. Thunderstorm is now baseline and Totemic Recall. So no more Totemic Recall. Call the Elements and Creation Core, I believe, are right below, right here. Yeah, these two. So these two are gone, which is fine. Like we weren't really using any of that stuff. So Elemental Developers Notes. Our goals with Ellie for Midnight are to reduce the number of rotational abilities and auras tracked, make it simpler to engage with Stormbringer talents, and add new gameplay for using fire spells and AoE. I don't like that they're making it easier. I really don't. I think some complexity is awesome. It really like you can tell the average player from like the great player, right? If they make it easy, fucking just give me a 1 button rotation, call it a day, right? Remove the GCD lag on the 1 button rotation. Flame Shock can now be replaced with an upgraded ability, Voltaic Blaze, which applies 6 Flame Shocks and causes your next lava burst to hit all Flame Shock targets, similar to previous designs with Primordial Wave. With this version, we're looking to allow a quick transition from Flame Shock application to the AoE lava burst for simplicity and keeping up demands of AoE with short-lived creatures. I mean, like, the demands of AoE are not just hitting 6 targets. The demands of AoEing keys are AoEing 10, 15, 20 mobs at once, right? So, I mean, we cannot control where our flame shocks spread. We're only going to get 6. So imagine a dungeon like Arakara where you hit Voltaic Blaze and it hits 6 of the small, tiny little spiders, and then you AoE lava burst 5 insignificant targets, right? Because you'll have your main flame shock on the target, but your other 5 will get wasted because they're going on insignificant creatures. The other issue that I found is Voltaic Blaze has a 15-second CD that shares with Flame Shock. So if you were to use it and then you pull a boss, you'd have to wait, 10 to 15 seconds in order to put up a Flame Shock on the boss single target. I believe that might be a slight oversight. I need to get access or footage to Alpha right away to make sure that this is not the case, because that would be kind of dumb. This is an optional talent path, so for players who want to focus on lightning and maelstrom spenders, that's still intended to be a viable playstyle. So I mean, we're probably either gonna go fire or more lightning, or maybe there'll be some builds with both. We'll see. It's early. I'm not gonna doom There's plenty of time. This thing won't be out for many, many more months. We don't know our Apex talents yet. New talent, Tectonic Collapse. Earthshock, Ellie Blast, and Earthquake deal 20% additional damage. Choice note against Aftershock. I still think Aftershock is going to be the default because more spenders equals more potential chance to proc DRE, which is Ascendance, and now Tempest. So I still think it's just going to be all day, every day Aftershock. Obviously, people are going to crunch the numbers, and we shall see which one is better. New talent, Molten Wrath. Lava Burst deals 25% additional damage. Choice Stone against Master of the Elements. This seems like a no-brainer if you go down the fire path. Lava Burst, 25% damage. AoE Lava Burst. Procking Ascendance, Lava Burst. Pressing Ascendance, Lava Burst. This seems like a no-brainer. Like, this is just going to destroy Master of the Elements. And you don't even have to think about Lava Bursting or worrying about Master of the Elements at all. Elemental Resonance, all elemental damage increased by 3%. Choice note against Thunder Strike Ward. Okay, guys, do you want to do 3% damage or Thunder Strike Ward, which was trash and you can only put on shields? And if you die, you'd have to re-Thunder Strike Ward your shield. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. LE damage 3%. Increases the effect by Resonance by 2%. Okay, so you want 5% or Thunder Strike Ward, which is gonna be dog. I think the default option is gonna be Resonance. New talent, Inferno Arc, Lightning Bolt, Tempest, Chain Lightning, and Earth Shock, Ellie Blast, Earthquake deal 15% increased damage to targets affected by Flame Shock. This is going to be a no-brainer in my opinion. Single target, that's great, right? Single target, all this, not Chain, Earth Shock, Ellie Blast, all 15% increased damage. And then if you have 6 Flame Shocks with spread up, that's going to be weird because Chain Lightning, unless Chain Lightning is prioritizing those Flame Shocks, as far as I know, Chain Lightning is random, right? So if you have 6 Flame Shocks up, 20 mobs, and your Chain Lightning, the Chain Lightning is likely only going to hit your main target. So it's not really doing 15% increased damage, but Earthquake will. So this is a nice talent either way. And then they talked about Voltaic Blaze instantly shocks a target and 5 enemies within 10 yards with Blazing Thunder, applying Flame Shock dealing nature damage. Always critically strikes, replaces Flame Shock. Flame Shock application logic has been updated. Prioritize enemy players and ignore, so it can't break CC. Again, the fact that we can't control the spread kind of sucks. But hey, extra damage. Maybe the AoE Lava Burst will give us a ton of Maelstrom for more spenders. Maybe it'll be fun to play with. It's early. I'm hoping that when you press Voltaic Blaze, like Primordial Wave is now, that you'll get a free Lava Surge. Not that you'll press Voltaic Blaze and then you'll have to hard cast a Lava Burst. Because I'm already kind of cooking openers. Like you'll want a Stormkeeper, Fire Ellie, open with Voltaic Blaze to spread Flame Shock, and then Ascend. And then you're going to hard cast Lava Burst. Or will your Ascendance Lava Burst consume that Voltaic Blaze? We don't know yet. Also, if Voltaic Blaze has a 15-second CD, do you want to press it in Ascendance? What is the true CD of Voltaic Blaze, if it shares with Flame Shock or not? Because the footage I saw was 15 seconds. So is it a DPS loss to press in Ascendance because it doesn't interact with Mastery? Don't know yet, too early. Either way, you probably still would press it because the AoE Lava Burst does interact with Mastery, which would be nuts. New talent, Purging Flames. Voltaic Blaze unleashes Volcanic Rage, causing your next Lava Burst cast to hit all Flame Shock targets at 80% effectiveness with reduced Maelstrom generation. So it's probably going to give you baby Maelstrom gen. I can already see it right now, but hopefully not. Lava Burst damage increased by 10%. Okay, I mean, we'll take that. Herald of the Storm redesign. So now instead of every nature, like every lightning bolt, chain lightning, tempest would give you 2 seconds off. It's just gonna give you a flat 15% off. That's kind of a nerf because I feel like the CDR on the old Herald was like a lot more than 15 seconds. But you know, it's fine. Thunderstorm is now learned at level 30. Earthquake now deals nature damage. Thank God we don't rely on monks for extra earthquake damage. I'll take that finally. Fear of the Storms now summons Greater Storm Ellie, and that's just like your storm. This is a choice node with Herald, so it's probably always going to be Fury of the Storms now instead of Herald. Maybe certain raid bosses you might go Herald if you want more Stormkeepers, or depending on the windows, right? Depending on the ad windows. Erupting Lava now deals its consumed damage 250%. They are really shoving this talent down our throats and building around it. They redesigned this talent and this tree like so long ago, and no one, their mom, their dad, their friend, their brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, no one has ever even looked at erupting lava. But now they're just like, you know what? Some dev out there was like, I worked really hard to think about this, and I need people to use this. So they're buffing the shit out of it, and we're probably gonna use it. So let's hope that it doesn't just munch the shit out of our flame shocks, so that we have no flame shocks. And let's hope that it's fun to play with. Remove the activation overlays that appear when you have enough Maelstrom to cast Earthshock, Ellie Black. Okay, I don't know what that means. Probably like their weak auras. Echoes of Grey Stories now has an activation overlay when gaining its effect. Again, they probably added like a weak aura that you can see. A sound now plays with Aftershock Refunds Maelstrom. Hopefully we can turn that off, because right now, I mean, it's pretty obvious to see when you do proc it or not. But it's nice to have. Actually, I've thought about like making a weak aura that did that. I can never find one, so maybe that's gonna be good. The following talents have been removed. EE, which is 10% damage after we cast like Primordial Wave, like elemental damage, I believe. It was like all 3 schools of magic. Flux Melting, garbage. We haven't used that in years. Ice Fury is gone. Liquid Magma Totem is gone. I thought Liquid Magma Totem was always garbage, and the only way they could have made this better was that it Flame Shock 6 target. Honestly, Voltaic Blaze could have just been Magma Totem with 6, except it dots 6 targets. I mean, that would have been nice. 5 targets plus your main target or something. Ice Fury not being in is kind of weird because it's gonna make single target rotation a freaking easy. Magma Chamber is gone. Fine, we haven't used that in years. Primordial Wave is gone, but it's baked into Voltaic Blaze. Splintered Elements is gone. Storm Ellie is gone. This is baked into Stormkeeper. The thing about Splintered Elements is like they finally listen and they're giving us Flame Shock spread, but it's almost too late, right? The reason we want Flame Shock spread now is because of Splintered Elements, right? You have 6 Flame Shocks. You get freaking 30% haste when you press Primordial Wave or Voltaic Blaze, right? Now it's gone. Like, why do we want Flame Shock spread now? Like, if you look at my overall done in the keys, like Flame Shock is 1.1% of my damage. Like, unless they buff the shit out of Flame Shock damage, like, who cares, right? The Voltaic Blaze is what's gonna carry us, I think, is the AoE Lavaverse and the erupting lava consuming those Flame Shocks. It's gonna be interesting future ahead of us. I really wish they would have kept Splintered Elements because that haste is so fun to play around with. And yeah, and then as we continue here, we have enhancement. So it looks like that would be it for the Elemental Shaman patch notes. But yeah, those are sort of my first impressions, guys. I'll keep a lookout for any additional changes or when our Apex talents come out so we can discuss them in a future video. That's it for this video. If you like videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe below. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.